Your water heater is probably dying right now, and you do not even know it. Most tanks are built to last 10 to 15 years, but the average homeowner kills theirs in 6 or 7 without realizing what went wrong. After spending over 25 years fixing and replacing water heaters, I can tell you that nearly every premature failure I have seen comes down to the same handful of preventable mistakes. Today, I am walking you through 7 water heater mistakes that will destroy your tank before it's time. And make sure you stick around for number 6, because that one gets people even when they think they are doing everything right. Plus, I have got a bonus tip at the end that most homeowners have never heard of. The first mistake that destroys more water heaters than anything else is never flushing the tank. Here is what happens inside your water heater every single day. Minerals in your water supply, mainly calcium and magnesium, settle to the bottom of the tank as the water heats up. Over months and years, that sediment layer builds up and hardens into a thick crust. Now your burner or heating element is not heating water directly anymore. It is trying to heat through a layer of white rock first. That forces your water heater to work significantly harder, driving up your energy bills and overheating the steel at the bottom of the tank. On gas models, you will start hearing a rumbling or popping sound. That is steam bubbles trapped under the sediment layer, literally erupting through the buildup. That is not just annoying. It is your tank telling you it is being cooked from the inside out. The fix is simple. Once a year, connect a garden hose to the drain valve at the bottom of your tank. Run it outside or into a floor drain, and flush until the water runs clear. If you have never done it and your heater is more than 3 years old, you might need to flush it 2 or 3 times to get the worst of it out. Some areas with extremely hard water may need flushing every 6 months. This one task alone can add years to your tank, and skipping it is the #1 reason I see tanks fail at the 7 or 8 year mark instead of lasting 15. The second mistake that silently ruins your water heater is ignoring the anode rod. Most homeowners have no idea this part even exists, but it is arguably the most important component protecting your tank from the inside. The anode rod is a metal rod, usually magnesium or aluminum, that threads into the top of your water heater and hangs down inside the tank. Its entire purpose is to corrode so your tank does not. It attracts the corrosive elements in your water through a process called electrolysis, sacrificing itself to protect the steel lining of your tank. That is why it is called a sacrificial anode. The problem is that once it is fully corroded, there is nothing left to protect the tank walls. Corrosion shifts to the steel itself, and once your tank starts rusting from the inside, there is no fixing it. You should be pulling and inspecting your anode rod every 3 to 4 years. If the rod is less than ½ an inch thick, or you can see the steel core wire running through the center, it is time to replace it. A new magnesium anode rod costs around $20 to $30. Replacing a water heater costs $800 to $1,500 or more. That math makes itself pretty clear. You will need a 1 1/16 inch socket and a breaker bar to remove it, and it can be stubborn if it has never been touched. But that 30 minutes of effort is the single best investment you can make in your water heater's lifespan. The third mistake that shortens your tank's life is setting the temperature too high. A lot of homeowners crank their thermostat up to 140 degrees or higher because they want screaming hot water at the tap. But running your tank that hot creates real problems. Higher temperatures accelerate mineral buildup dramatically. The hotter the water, the faster calcium and magnesium come out of solution and settle to the bottom of your tank. So you are compounding that first mistake we talked about, even if you are flushing regularly. On top of that, extreme heat puts constant thermal stress on the tank walls, the fittings, and especially the dip tube. It also increases your risk of scalding, particularly if you have children or elderly family members in the home. The Department of Energy recommends 120 degrees Fahrenheit as the ideal setting. That is hot enough for showers, dishwashing, and laundry. It reduces sediment formation, lowers your energy bill by roughly 6 to 10%, and dramatically cuts scalding risk. check your thermostat dial. On many gas models, 120 degrees is the notch between the words warm and hot. On electric models, you may need to cut power at the breaker and remove the access panels to adjust both the upper and lower thermostats. Quick thing before we move on. I have spent 35 years learning these fixes the hard way, and I put the best of what I know into a book called 50 Easy Plumbing Fixes. 122 pages of step-by-step repairs with 17 diagrams that can save you thousands. Scan the QR code on screen or hit the link in the description if you want the full guide. Now back to the fix. The fourth mistake that puts your water heater at serious risk is neglecting the temperature and pressure relief valve. This valve, usually called the T&P valve, is that brass fitting on the side or top of your tank, with a small discharge pipe running down toward the floor. It is a critical safety device designed to open automatically if the pressure or temperature inside your tank reaches dangerous levels. Without a functioning T&P valve, your water heater can become a pressure vessel with no relief point. In extreme cases, that leads to a catastrophic tank rupture. And I am not exaggerating when I say a water heater explosion can launch a tank through the roof of a house. It has happened. The problem is that most homeowners never test this valve. Over time, mineral deposits and corrosion can seize it shut, which means it will not open when it needs to. You should be testing your T&P valve at least once a year. Place a bucket under the discharge pipe, lift the lever gently, and you should get a short burst of hot water. If nothing comes out, or if the valve will not stop dripping after you release it, replace it immediately. A new T&P valve costs less than $15, and it is a straightforward swap. Just make sure the replacement matches your tank's BTU rating and pressure specifications. Do not ignore this one. It is both a longevity issue and a serious safety issue. The fifth mistake that many homeowners do not even know about is skipping expansion tank installation. This one matters most if your home has a closed-loop water system, which is increasingly common. Here's the deal. Many municipalities now require backflow preventers or check valves on your main water line to keep your home's water from flowing back into the city supply. That is a good thing for public safety, but it creates a problem for your water heater. When water heats up, it expands. In an open system, that expanded volume pushes back into the city main. No problem. But in a closed-loop system, that pressure has nowhere to go. It builds up inside your tank, your pipes, and your fittings, with every single heating cycle. Over time, that repeated pressure stress weakens the tank walls, stresses solder joints, causes fittings to drip, and can even trigger your T&P valve to discharge regularly. The solution is a thermal expansion tank, which is a small tank, usually 2 to 5 gallons, that mounts on the cold water supply line above your water heater. It contains a rubber bladder that absorbs the excess pressure from thermal expansion. They cost around $40 to $60 and are a straightforward installation. If your T&P valve is periodically dripping and you cannot figure out why, a missing expansion tank in a closed-loop system is very often the cause. The sixth mistake that gets people even when they are trying to do the right thing is using the wrong size or type of replacement parts. This is the one that frustrates me the most, because the homeowner is actually making an effort to maintain their water heater. But a wrong part choice ends up causing more damage than doing nothing at all. The most common example is the anode rod. If your tank has a glass-lined interior and you install an aluminum anode rod in water that has a high sulfur content, you are going to get a nasty rotten egg smell in your hot water. If you use a magnesium rod in water that has been treated with a water softener, the rod can corrode so aggressively that it produces hydrogen gas and creates pressure issues inside the tank. You need to match the anode rod material to your water chemistry. Magnesium works best in most standard municipal water. Aluminum or zinc combo rods are better for softened water or water with sulfur issues. Powered anode rods are another option for problem water situations, though they cost more. The same principle applies to heating elements on electric water heaters. Using the wrong wattage element or the wrong style, whether screw-in or bolt-on flange, can lead to poor performance, tripped breakers, or even damage to the tank. Always check your owner's manual or the label on your existing parts before buying replacements. Take a photo of the old part before you remove it and match it exactly. The seventh and final mistake that leads to catastrophic water heater failure is ignoring early warning signs. Your water heater almost always tells you it is in trouble before it fails completely. The problem is that most homeowners do not know what to listen for, or they dismiss the signs as minor annoyances. Rumbling or popping sounds from a gas water heater mean heavy sediment buildup. Rusty or discolored hot water, especially if it only comes from the hot side, means internal corrosion has started. Lukewarm water or noticeably slower recovery time means your heating element or burner is struggling, possibly because of sediment, a failing thermocouple, or a degraded dip tube. Small puddles or moisture around the base of the tank should never be ignored. That is often the first sign of a slow tank leak that will eventually become a full-floor flood. And if you notice your T&P valve discharging regularly, that is a sign of excess pressure that needs to be diagnosed immediately. Every one of these symptoms is connected to the other 6 mistakes on this list. If you catch these early, you can often fix the root cause for under $100. If you ignore them, you are looking at a full tank replacement, water damage to floors, walls, and belongings, and potentially thousands of dollars in repairs. Train yourself to do a quick visual and audio check of your water heater once a month. Look for moisture, listen for sounds, and pay attention to changes in your hot water quality. 2 minutes a month can save you from a disaster. All right, here is the bonus tip that pros actually use. And this one surprises a lot of homeowners. If you want to dramatically extend the life of your water heater, install a sediment trap on the gas supply line right before it enters the unit. Most local codes actually require this, but a huge number of installations skip it, or the original one was never done correctly. A sediment trap is simply a small T-fitting with a short cap nipple, usually 3 to 4 inches long, pointing straight down. It catches dirt, debris, and moisture in the gas line before it can reach your burner assembly. Without one, contaminants slowly clog your thermocouple, foul your burner ports, and cause inconsistent heating that stresses the entire system. You can build one with a few dollars worth of black iron fittings in about 15 minutes. It is one of those small details that separates a water heater that limps to year 8 from one that cruises past year 15. If you look at your gas line connection right now and do not see that downward-facing cap nipple, add it this weekend. Your tank will thank you. That wraps it up. If this was useful, you will love the full book. 50 step-by-step plumbing fixes with diagrams, all in one guide. Link is below. Hit subscribe so you do not miss the next video. Thanks for watching.